you go. All right. So up next, we've got Darren Clark. Now, Darren is a guy I've known for 18 months or so and had the pleasure of working with over the last couple of months as we're working to improve our business. He's probably got one of the more confronting topics out of any that we've had here at Reboot. I don't know if everyone's read it yet, but it's you are the biggest problem in your company. So when I read that, I thought, well, actually, I probably am. You could ask most of those guys out there. But a little bit about Darren. So Darren's business, Darren is the founder of Encite Partners, not Insight, Encite with an E. After 34 years, 34 companies, I should say, of his own, and coaching and consulting to hundreds of high-performing entrepreneurs and leaders in business, greater good and government from North America to South Africa, Darren Clark has had the opportunity to make and witness more business mistakes than most. Siri. She's having problems too. Can you help her? Darren is passionate, hard-hitting. His specialty is strategy and business model innovation, and he can see value and opportunities where others only see problems. Darren is the guy you call when no one else knows what to do. His clients go beyond what they thought possible because of the relentless commitment to exceptional outcomes. I've had the pleasure, as I said, working with Darren, and he's making some really great changes within our business. And I'm really excited for Darren to share his experience and his knowledge here tonight. So welcome.
Thank you.
Give me a pocket there.
Yep. Just stick it in. Said the bishop to the actress.
There you go.
Now they can hear.
I think they can hear you.
I can't
yeah.
explain comments,
Okay.
but I will. Have a stick in there. If I sit, can you see me? I figure you guys have been sitting looking at screens. Oh, by the way, that was all bullshit. He made the whole lot up. He said, "We got a hole. Can you just come and pretend to be somebody for half an hour, so that the others do?" But I didn't. He didn't tell me he would tell all those lies. So, and set me up with the worst possible topic. But I'll just have a crack and see how I go. I suppose there's a topic I actually use a lot, and I think it's part of day-to-day in the reality of business. Like if I'm to be really brutal about it, I think that should be a given. I get that half of you guys in the room. Oh, by the way, no screens, no data. You guys have been looking at shit like that all day. I'll just talk. Actually, I'll talk long enough until you guys come up with some questions. So how's about that as a deal? So I'll just do the comic relief and fill the gaps in between until you kind of go. Because I think the reality of business and the reason I like coaching is it's not about the information. It's not about the data. It's not about the stuff, because it's everywhere. I think it's really about great questions. I think that's the thing we miss now, because we don't normally have time. Yeah. So I'll just talk shit. You go into your head and like, what is the great question? Because there's people in the room way smarter than me who will probably be able to answer it. So you've got sort of 15 minutes. So how long am I supposed to make this stuff up for? 20 minutes. 15. So I'll talk for 10. How about that as a deal? And then I want 10 minutes of questions. Go.
How do you spot the biggest problem in your business?
You've already have. You are. And it really is true. I know it's confronting, and as much as he's handed me the hot potato or the hospital pass, it is the case, yeah? We have this point where, okay, so firstly, I get half of you guys in the room don't own your own business, yeah? Or some of you don't. That's wrong too. You do. You are running a business of one person, and you're unlucky enough to have one client. But you're more unlucky that the one person in your business is really obnoxious and they won't negotiate and they're on your case all the time, which is you. Yeah, so you don't get off the hook. Everybody here is the biggest problem in their business, whether you're working technically for somebody else, but you're really running a business well, or you've got a company. Like I say 34 companies, or they say it in that bio because I haven't admitted to my missus that there's actually over 40. And I've screwed up so many and done so many dumb things because it was me. The ones that were successful was where smarter people than me got me out of the way, or I did the bits I needed to do and contributed the stuff I needed to contribute and then handed over to people better than me. And what happens is, to answer Megan's question, is we don't see that transition because when we start companies or we start new initiatives, we've got the passion, we've got the drive, we've got the skill, the capability, the technical knowledge, the network, the creativity, the unbelievable talent. Okay, if I'm the product, you've got, what the hell are you going to do with photos for that though? There's a question I was really going to ask. So you can't, you'd have to Photoshop that. So all that skill and talent is what creates our business and gets us from there to where we are now. But that same stuff is what causes the problem and stops us getting to the next bit. So you become the problem generally. It must happen when we're asleep or something. It happens overnight because we don't notice it, yeah? So we transition like caterpillars and butterflies in reverse or something, from being what created it and started it, unless we get some levels of awareness, into being the problem that's holding us back. So that's kind of what, you know, the real principle I'm kind of suggesting is or says. Am I like making lots of, I'm not making noise, am I, by moving around and really annoying. The concept is that if that's the case, we are what created it. So we're like the star player, and at some point we transition to the other side. I find it interesting, particularly when I'm having this conversation with guys, clients of mine who have made way more money and more successful and doing amazing things all over the planet, and for some dumb reason they like me giving them shit and telling them that they're idiots. But those kind of, like what I find fascinating, even in guys that have achieved incredible stuff, and guys and girls, I use the term generally, is that we kind of have the backpack of all the tools or things that we've used or created to get to this point. The skills, the experiences, the stuff we've learned that we carry, yeah? We get up in the morning, we take our backpack off to work, we use it to make decisions, it's the context, it's our confidence, it's all that stuff's in the backpack. And what we generally do, I think, and where we become the problem is we just want to keep taking more on that journey. Most of what I would say I bring, because the reason I start to confidently say it's bullshit, is that I get people to do less, not more. So the concept is take stuff out of the backpack. The stuff that got you to here is not going to get you to the next point. The tenacity, the confidence, the thriftiness, the adaptivity, the raw talent, all this kind of stuff is not going to get you to the next point. The longer you hang on to it, the more you will stay here, the less happy you'll be with what it was you imagine would be the future sort of piece. So that's why you are the problem. Hand over the keys to people like, be like me, be so bad at it, that eventually you get to the point where smart people just go, give us the keys, shut the hell up, go and do that while we make this really work. I learned that I'm a really good wartime leader, but I'm a shit peacetime leader. Like, if I'm in charge of the village during peacetime, they'll all start fighting with each other. But when the bad guys come, I'm the first with the shield and the sword, and I'll go running because that's the shit I love. So I can't do the other, yeah? And that's what, by letting go of the fact that I had to be responsible to do all those things, was a big transition point for me. So everybody's the same. Everybody I work with, at some point, like my clients right now range from startup and pre-revenue to over $1 billion. And they are literally all over the world, and the conversations are the same. And every single person I work with, every single one I've ever worked with, me and all of you, we're all at a point we've never been before. But yet we show up to things like this with all the gaps in our story, and do I look cool, and have I said the right things? I mean, be like me, just know that you're not going to say the right stuff. And don't worry about the gap. It's just all crap, because everyone's got one. But just be aware of where you're at right now, and then you stop being the problem. The other the fascinating thing amongst all this is, as a business owner or a participant in the rest of it, So much of our value in what we bring is based around what we do or can do or have done, yeah? But it's so dumb because the world doesn't value it. Like the lowest paid jobs, the least revenue, the least respect and stuff is the doing. The people who just make decisions and do bugger all are the ones who get all the money. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, I mean, you're all, this industry, you're at the front end of everything. The faster you let go, the faster you move across to the other side and empower stuff to happen and do, the faster that shift will happen, and then you will stop being the problem. Yeah. So I'm not going to just belt everybody up all night. There is a silver lining, or there is a light at the end of the tunnel. How about that? So while we're on the really, and I'm saying this because these are the conversations I have all day. Like, phenomenally smart people go, "Holy shit, that's amazing." It's like, it's not amazing. It's just good because it's simple. It's not as complex as we make it to be, yeah? So every one of you stuck wherever you're stuck, dealing with whatever problem you've got, people have already solved it. Just ask, just go there, just be real. Classic example, one of my favourite tools to use, it's so simple, it's called, I think it's actually originally called the ABC rule. A guy that I really respect called Dan Sullivan created it how many thousand years ago, and somehow he's still alive. But ABC rule says, it talks about what we could invest our time in. So if you are the most valuable resource in your company, what are you investing that most valuable resource? A, the thing we invest most in, he calls it, I have different names for it, I'm a bit more harsh, he calls it irritating. I call it all the dumb shit we shouldn't be doing in business. That takes up most of our time, statistically on average, as entrepreneurs and participants in creative businesses. It's the dumb shit. It's most of it. So we invest the most valuable resource in the dumbest things we possibly can. The stuff we don't want to have to do, or the stuff we don't like to do, the stuff we feel like we have to because the government or the clients or somebody else tells us shit we should do. It's dumb. Best resource, worst outcome. B is the stuff that we're okay at. We feel okay about. It's the second biggest pile. So that's where we're investing the second biggest amount of our most valuable resource, ourselves, our attention at the top end, on the things we're okay at. Because again, it's about the doing. We think we're okay if we're doing lots. C, what is it? Anybody know? What's C? If A is the shit we hate and we're no good at, B's okay. C's the amazing stuff, our kind of zone of genius, the shit that we even feel good and surprised that we can do. Sometimes we're so good at we're embarrassed to say it. Or everyone will think I'm an egomaniac if I actually say I'm awesome at this stuff. Like we're geared not to do that. And we spend statistically the least amount of our time on that. So our most valuable resource, how we invest it, and the principle of income follows assets, we invest it badly most of the time. Again, that's why we're the problem, yeah? But again, that's why it's so simple and easy to make the transition. Has everybody offended yet, or have I got to keep going? Okay. So I'll stop this sort of beat up and kind of again, I'm just vicariously taking it on you because I'm so angry at myself over my 34 years, was it, of business. There are some things, like you guys in the industry, in the sector that you're in, is phenomenally exciting with that, it's not just lip service. Like Karina, like I got a client right now who's a US-based company. They were born out of a tiny creative office in Springwood. They were digital designers. They designed the retail for the biggest brands on the planet, and they still use SketchUp. They use SketchUp because it's an experience-based tool for them to communicate what it's going to be like. And I think that's the piece in what you're connecting to. But I use it as an example of kind of going, like literally they still have, the head office is still in Springwood. They now own the building and a couple other buildings up the street, and most of the staff are in Colorado, and they've got teams in China and in Germany, and they are having these exact conversations and the links between bricks and clicks and the whole dynamic of where that retail is going to in the future. But they are one of you guys, yeah? And all the clients that I work with that are big and cool and tell amazing stories sit here. They're part of this. It isn't that, it's like one of my past businesses was dealing with now famous people. But when I was working with them, they weren't. They were all pains in the arse. They were all egotistical artists and performers and musos and sports people and all the rest of it. None of them had success until they had success. So what's some of the criteria that actually helps make that aligned? What we don't do enough is take from those successes. So in terms of the digital disruptors, the creators, the biggest companies on the planet, I use from a mate of mine, Brian Franklin, a US coach. He uses this a lot, and he coaches the sort of $1 trillion type companies. And 5 rules that I use a lot with my clients, which I'd love you to, even if you grab a hold of one of these and take them away, or if you want them all, just email me or Glenn or somebody, I'll send them to you. The first of the 5, predict non-linear trends. The reason I asked you, what's your industry doing in 2030? You are the person most qualified to know that here. Be out there, be it, don't wait for it to happen. It's going to happen and you're going to be at the forefront of it. Our businesses' values are based on profit times a multiple. Profit, the past, multiple, the future. Value equals profit times a multiple. That's how it all works, yeah? That's what the basic building block of business is. You've got to know what the future is. You have to predict the non-linear stuff. Guarantee you, those companies that are out there that are doing well at making it look easy, they've just gotten good at it. They don't necessarily have crystal balls, but they kind of use their businesses like they are. You must do that. The second one is you must change the customer's behaviour the least. You're not going to get scale and evolution and development. You're not going to get that roll up and build and critical mass if you expect them to do all the work. Like, you look at the evolution of those slides there and the transition of Coke, it's like, shit, the bottle's still the bottle, it's just cheaper, or it's plastic. We're expecting you're all so dumb that we're not even going to get rid of those dumb bumps and stuff on the bottle, or whatever it is. We're expecting the customer to change the least. Most of the successful brands on the planet are working on that basis. Although they're making revolutionary jumps, they're just not expecting the customer to do it for them. My favourite, and the thing I'd really like to bring to you guys, is you must play a game that only you can win. Whether you're in a company, whether you're running a company, whether you're in a market. If any of you look around the room here and there's someone better than you at what you do, you need to change your appointments and your schedules for tomorrow. And I'm not joking. Competition, we say it's good and it's a building block of business. In my experience, it's the death of most businesses. It's what changes and hinders and holds back. Because what we're doing is carving up the same number of resources, opportunities in smaller ways. You cannot compete. It's dumb. Read the Blue Ocean Strategy or do something like that. Get inspired to not compete. Segment, do whatever you've got to do, be different. Be the best in your street or your unit block as it's a start. Focus on the areas that you're brilliant at and genius at, but don't compete. It's dumb. Be awesome. Be able to walk in the door and say, I'm the very best at what I do. There's no one's better than me. At sitting in a chair, filling in the middle spot and just talking shit and having everyone go, what the hell is he saying? There is no one better at it than me tonight in this room who's come here invited by Glenn. There you go. I'm the best at that. Be that guy, yeah? Don't compete. Hopefully that's the one thing you remember. The best scalable models on the planet don't actually do shit. They provide a venue or a platform for third parties to exchange value. Yeah? So you think about it. Google, Apple, all the cool companies that you guys know better than me, and I'm not going to say too many more because I'll look even dumber than what I am. They don't do shit, yeah? They provide the platform for the third parties to do all the cool things. Yeah? There is mini and micro versions of that, exactly that, everywhere. It isn't just for the big guys. They did it on a small version to start. That's what made them big. And the last one is, the fifth one, you must be flexible with your identity, which means your willingness to change, adapt, evolve, be agile and stuff, but not your values. If you've got a platform of values, integrity, intent, all that kind of stuff, you can change and evolve, as we've seen, from right throughout an entire industry. You hang and hold up those values as a company or as a person, you can go wherever you want. But don't mistake the two. Don't confuse the values with the intent and the identity. Now, surely you've got some questions so that I can shut up now. And probably, or I talk through the question time. Thank you.
I got a question. I can tell you're very passionate of what you're doing, but what part of your work do you feel like you have the most spark? Is it the journey or the beginning when you actually see like they really hit the wall, or is it the end? Or
so there's two bits for me. One is that most people hire me to fix the businesses or do the work in the companies, which we do. But that's the harder way to do it, and I've learnt that, you know, it's too much work. It's much easier than changing the company, change the mindset. So most of the time, the people I'm sitting across the table are way smarter than me. But I'll ask the dumb questions, or I'll provoke or poke them with the same kind of dumb passion to go, you need to go more, you need to go beyond that. And then when we change their mindsets, the business stuff comes really generally easily. I love that. I love, no matter how big or powerful people are, or how small or struggling or whatever other else, to come out the other side of a conversation with a whole new perspective is if I win $1 billion tomorrow, I'm still doing that. I love it. The other bit is business models. No one talks about them. Everyone's got them. They're like the sleeping giants in so many companies. Often we're selling the wrong shit. Like we really are. Or to the wrong customer. There are 55 published business models, which means there are God knows how many hybrids of those. And people don't look at their business model enough. So there you go, there's my two dumb passion things. I do that all day long. In fact, I do. I mean, they pay me to talk other things, but really that's what I'm doing. Because it's the passion, that's where there's real phenomenal opportunities. And if it doesn't work, then I'm not the right guy for them. Okay.
What are some of the kind of red flags that business owners might look out for to realise that there's a problem in their business?
Okay, so here's two questions. Great question. I hate these questions. That's why I use them a lot. I want you to be able to answer. If I ask the person in the world who knows you the most, the person in the whole world, spouse, family, friend, mate, colleague, whatever, business partner, whatever, if I ask them honestly, what's your biggest weakness? What will they say? You need to know that.
Yeah,
second one is?
I can answer that. My wife would say it's communication.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Then I communicate really well with my clients.
So it's communication. If she knows it, it's the problem. Okay, here's my second question. Do you work in a team, or is it just you?
It's just myself.
Okay, so whatever your ecosystem or network is, if it's clients, suppliers, whatever else that makes up your business, imagine they're all together now. They're on the piss and the pub, so they're loose and they're talking stuff they shouldn't be, and one of them brings you up and complains. What do they all agree and complain about? You don't have to answer that. But you do have to know the answer. Yeah. And you've got to go there, and you've got to trace both of those things back to going, that's the stuff we don't look at enough. That's where the really cool bits are. Like I can, I'm happily open to answer mine, and my wife would be like, she'll be on the phone if she even gets a sniff at it. She'll tell you all the things that are wrong with me. But for me, it's focus. And where it plays out in the networks and stuff that I do is that I don't stick it through enough, which is why my model has to be, I'm hopeless at that. I get too excited by too many different things. I think I was saying to a couple of guys tonight, what's my invest? Because I'm being stouted as an investor. What's your investment strategy? My wife will tell you, it's the Jack and the Beanstalk business investment strategy. Leave home with the family cow and come back with 3 magic beans that might grow into something. And so I'm hopeless at that. I have people smarter than me to support and stop me doing all that dumb stuff, because I'm really bad at it, but I enjoy it. I love being bad at it. Does that even answer your question? Probably not. It sounded good though.
Just curious, what's your thoughts on running a lifestyle business?
A lifestyle business? What else is there? I mean, really, if you're not running a business for having a good life, why the hell are you doing it? Like, we take on companies to have choice, freedom, and all this entrepreneurial bullshit. It's like, so great, I'll go and work for the worst ever boss who makes me work 24/7, lie awake at night and worry about stuff, pay me a third of what I could get to go and do the same thing for somebody else up the street. We do it because it's a lifestyle, or we're passionate, or we should be. And if we're not, get the hell out and go and do something else. Exactly. Who's not in a lifestyle business? Look at all those lazy bastards here drinking beer and pretending to be working. You know, it's like, plus, look, you know that there are people in the room that are just worth shitloads, yeah? And they just kind of like pretending that they're not, and they show up in old cars and old clothes. It's like, that's the way it is. It's lifestyle businesses. It should all be that.
If we were having the first meeting,
We are.
sitting down with coffee,
It's just like this.
what's the first question that you ask me?
What do you need?
That's
And-
a good expectation.
Well, I mean, the only thing I need you to bring in a conversation like that is willingness to have the conversation. Like to all my clients, no matter what they're doing. And we're all the same, yeah? So you show up with the willingness and it's like, well, what do you need? When I said before about good questions, I do so much networking and this kind of stuff, and most people don't have a question. So I would be poking you with lots of questions and getting you to the point of you start asking more of me and you. And that, because you're going to be obviously more smarter than me, so it's like, I got to go, well, I just got to ask better questions. And then I can get away with you paying me shitloads of money, and you know, when you just come up with all the answers yourself anyway. Because you already had them, yeah?
Well, I was going to say, what's your engagement model? If you're shit ass at peas, the great at war.
Isn't it perfect? If I could sell me, I can sell anything. Like, but generally, for me, it's that connecting at that point where I get it. Yeah, I've screwed up lots. I know what it's like. I'll go on the journey with you on the same side of the desk, as opposed to selling at you. But that kind of, it's got to have that empathetic human passion. That's what is just like. My first clients are kind of like 6 o'clock in the morning from somewhere, places I've never been, and it's incredible. You know, watching people go on phenomenal journeys, backing everything, and you know, doing amazing shit. That's what we're lucky to be part of. You guys are on that journey with so many clients. Meet them in the same way that that I'm talking about. Like, just get in amongst it. Like, you've got a great opportunity to be part of that. Surely I've gone way over time. Huh?
What's your favourite book to refer or recommend?
Depends who you are. I'm a crazy reader. I'm up to about like 6 or 7 a month. I love in terms relevant to this, I love the benefits of like stoic type thinking, to strip back the stuff. So if you're not into stoicism and any of the kind of famous Marcus Aurelius type stuff, which is pretty heavy going, there's a guy called Ryan Holiday. Like, I mean, I've in terms of books that I give, that's one of his would probably be amongst the most. But I also think that most of the current books are just regurgitated or reshaped versions of the masters and the classics. So anything that's kind of original from the original business people, we're just still reproducing the same stuff. What's yours?
Many.
It's hard question.
Well, again, along the philosophy base, I'm reading some Buddhist books,
Yeah.
and the principles that they've set back, thousands of years old, apply to business now more than ever.
Autobiography of Yogi, I'm doing for the 3rd time right now, which was the book that Steve Jobs carried with him most of his life. Yeah, so stuff like that. Yeah. So there's shitloads. That's a great question. You should always ask people what's your favourite book and start reading them. I will shut up then, I'm sorry.
We've got time for one more question.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Ben just went to the bathroom. Finding 5 minutes, actually.
Have you ever turned up to a client and got their story and gone, I can't help you, you're just awesome?
All the time.
You almost said it to us.
In fact, but that's normally the case, yeah, but that's not mine to own. So then the question is, so why am I here? What do you need? And same goes, I think, for you guys. Like why are you here tonight?
Free pizza.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool. I thought it was me.
Do you
So
feel like it's just, you're almost like, you're kind of like a therapist?
yeah,
To some
absolutely.
people where you're just a sounding board. But
okay,
people
so
aren't asking for help enough, but by engaging you and paying you, they really feel like you can be on the same level and they can say things to you that they're maybe not saying to, like, not colleagues, but people in their industry. They're not asking for advice anywhere else. But it's just somewhere to air their thoughts with
yeah,
you.
definitely.
For you
There's
to make-
absolutely a pile of that. So my wife is actually a trained psych, yeah, and so I get built up to like everybody else, and she go like we have the same day in many ways. What's really interesting is what I think the collateral is. I mean, I think firstly money is the lowest form of energy. It's just a lazy way of exchanging energy, yeah? So we've done an energy exchange. A few laughs, hopefully you forget that it was just all crap that I'm talking, you kind of go, okay, he was actually entertaining, so it was all right. I don't feel like robbed and we've exchanged okay. But with a client engagement, the energy, the exchange of that energy is really crucial. What I really bring that most clients don't see is confidence. Because they go, if that idiot can make sense of it, anybody can. But really, I'm unpacking the confidence and all the stuff that they've already got, yeah? So I'm just going to what they're already amazing at and getting them to do more of that and less of the other shit that gets in the way. And stop all the voices and all those other things, because then they go and do those incredible deals and they go and do the stuff that they put themselves off and they go beyond what they thought possible is probably what we're doing most. You can't do that without confidence. Yeah? So that's what I sell, although I can't put that on the website. I mean, I'm such a disgrace in terms of digital stuff. I don't even have websites. The websites I have is because people did them for me because I was too embarrassed I didn't even have a website. But that's what I would put on it. Like, that's what you need to buy, is just take that confidence and go and do it.
Just one more thing to add. There's a new book out by Eric Schmidt about Bill Campbell.
$1 Trillion Coach. Awesome book, buy it.
Yeah, which I think for people working in tech, it's probably a great place to start.
Yeah.
And it's just mind-blowing to think that a company like Google, where you had Page and Brin as the founders, who then brought in, Schmidt as a CEO, they still felt they needed to have a full-time coach in the business, coaching all three of them.
Yeah.
And the role he played is just phenomenal.
He is incredible. And like all those other things, so many roads lead back to the same sorts of guys. Like a couple of mates of mine were coached by Bill Campbell. It sounds like a bit of a toss, but I think coaching isn't really occupation stuff. It should be, to me, it's modern leadership. Like you should all be coaches. In fact, everybody is already. If you're a parent, you're a coach. If you're a sibling, you're a coach. If you're a team member, you're a coach. I think it's a style of leadership that everybody should be doing. And if you don't have one, it certainly shouldn't be me. You should go and find someone better. But it's like, you really should. Like, my life changed because of great coaches for me. Like, but in other parts of the life, we wouldn't go and run a sporting team or whatever else without it. And, the Bill Campbell thing to me says, get a coach. Like, it's like the stuff that the impact that he's had on people's lives on the planet is phenomenal. Surely it's not now.
Done.
Thank you.
You.